please don't tell me I need to sit here and explain to you that this didn't mean anything. Please tell me I don't have to sit and talk in this microphone to describe to you how meaningless this basketball game was. I'm coming off a very emotional Phillies loss right now in extra innings. Please do not piss me off. So, listen, the Sixers get crushed. They get crushed in Miami. Dwyane Wade, it's his last home game because they have an under 1% chance of making the playoffs. So, essentially, it realistically will be his last home game. And the crowd there was electric. It was dynamite. The place was packed. The energy was crazy. Let me ask you this. What was your favorite lineup tonight? Did you like the TJ Zahir, Highsmith, Jonathan Simmons, Boban lineup? Or maybe the TJ Shake Milton, Furkan Korkmaz, Greg Monroe, Amir Johnson lineup? Okay? Listen, I know that in the early stages of this game with our starters, well, not Joel Embiid, not JJ Redick, and not Mike Scott. I know those three didn't play, but our other starters, Ben, Jimmy, Tobias, with them in there, I know it got blown out of proportion a little bit more than you probably would have liked to. Who cares? You have a team fighting for just the emotional tie of Dwyane Wade playing in his last ever game in Miami. Ironically enough, I'm wearing the Miami shirt that I have, but you have that emotional tie. You have the big ceremony. You have all that, and you have a team that locked up a playoff spot already who's kind of cruising and chilling. All right? It was a blowout, and deservingly so. Dwyane Wade gets his 30. Hurrah, hurrah. He falls, actually, at the end when he was giving his last speech after the game. He tries to jump up on the table, and he falls, slips over, says, let's do this again. I thought that was kind of funny. I'm a Dwyane Wade fan, absolutely. I loved his prime. It was tremendous. But in the aspect of this basketball game, come on. Come on, please don't tell me you think that this has anything to do with what's going to happen. Did you hear the lineup? Did you hear these players that I'm talking about? Furkan Korkmaz, really? Shake Milton, Amir Johnson getting these minutes, Jonathan Simmons, Highsmith. Stop. Just stop. And the one thing I can look at with this basketball game that says I'm a little upset about, and it's just because of his personal slump, is Tobias Harris, because he shot 3 of 16 and 0 of 6 from 3. So he has been in a slump, and there's no denying that. He's been in a slump when it comes to making shots, and it carried on through tonight. So if there's one thing that I take a look at out of this basketball game, it's a little upsetting to see him still struggle. He's getting to his spots. He's getting good looks from 3, and they're just not falling. A couple of them literally rattled in and around the rim or hit around the rim a couple times and popped out. And I mean, there's only so much you can do with that. It's not falling right now for him, and he's going to have to kind of figure it out. So, other than that, what do you want me to say? Right? What do you want me to say? There's no takeaways from this game. There's going to be no takeaways from tomorrow's game against the Bulls either. This is what happens when you clinch a playoff spot. This is what happens when it's game 81, game 82, and nothing else can go right for your team when it comes to standings and jumping up spots. So you just have to sit there and let the other guys run, let the young bucks run. You saw a couple things from Zahir Smith, and let me get this straight here. I've seen Zahir Smith play some minutes now, and he gets a nod, which is great. He gets his first start. Awesome. I see value in him. I see value in his athleticism. I see that he's confident in shooting the basketball, which is finally nice to see considering Ben Simmons isn't and Markelle Fultz was never, right? So I find that awesome, but he's just not ready yet. He's too raw, and for what we're about to jump into, I just don't think he's ready yet. You can see, and not just him, and there's a lot of guys out there tonight that just didn't know what the hell they were doing, all over the place, offensively, defensively. He's just not ready yet, but I like what I see for future, for the future of the Sixers with him. I don't think he stinks when I say Zahir Smith's not ready, but he's just not ready for legitimate NBA playoffs. You imagine making the jump from, we talk about it all the time, college to NBA. Well, this guy's, it's such an extreme jump. Well, this guy's not ready yet. This guy's going to make a jump from college to NBA playoffs and be this legit guy? Like, no, that's not how it works. So I just want to make that clear. And one thing that happened, Bolden did not return after a little shakeup there at Jonah Bolden. Just keep an eye out on that, especially with this medical team. I expect him to at least get some minutes during the playoffs, depending on matchups. Either him, Greg Monroe, Boban, just depending on matchups and what we're going to do. I expect him to get some time, so hopefully it's nothing too serious and it was more of a precautionary thing. Ben Simmons played. Like, Ben Simmons actually played today. I would have liked to seen him just take a jumper. I know it doesn't mean anything, and it wouldn't mean anything for the future of this playoff run, but I would have liked to just see him take it. These are the type of games where it's, why the hell not, Ben? Why the hell not? We've seen him throughout the middle of the season finally start to take more jumpers, and then it just automatically stopped. Then it just automatically shut down after he finally seemed to be a little bit more aggressive with taking shots. And I know it was, my timeline with Ben Simmons right now seems like I was extremely harsh in the beginning, because if everyone remembers, in the beginning of the season, it looked like he didn't take one step of being better. Then I started to take a step back and say everyone's being way too harsh on him. I was upset with him, but people are being way too harsh on him. Ben Simmons is still great. Well, now I'm starting to get back into this because I know it's going to get abused. He's just not ready yet. Ben Simmons is not ready to take the next level of his game yet, and you're going to see it. Maybe not so much with the Brooklyn Nets. And like I said, when it comes to playoff series and previews, we will discuss that later on. But Ben Simmons, it's pretty clear that the next jump is not taken yet, and when we play teams like Milwaukee or Toronto in the second round, good teams are going to expose that again, and it might be similar to last year when it comes to Ben Simmons. But listen. That's not what this is about. This is about a Sixers game where, we lose 122-99. It was garbage. Honestly, realistically, unwatchable. Thankfully, the Phillies were on as well. I had the double TV combination there. Of course, I had the Sixers on just peeping. But what do you get out of this game? You can't take a look at it and say anything. And I expect the same against the Bulls. But, it's what I do. I break down the Sixers games, and this is the backstretch where you sit here and say, damn it, can the playoffs just start yet? Like, damn, how much longer do we need to wait for the playoffs? Well, I'll tell you, what is it, Tuesday right now? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, that many days. That's if the Sixers play the first day. So it is what it is. If I have to sit here and read comments about how this loss pisses you off or how you saw things in this game that really got you frustrated, I even tweeted this out. God bless you. God bless you. Because when you're watching these guys run up and down the floor with chicken with their heads cut off, not knowing where to go, not understanding anything. I mean, this lineup of TJ, Shake Milton, Korkmaz, Greg Monroe, and Amir Johnson. Like, come on. And I expected that. I was even surprised to see TJ, or I'm sorry, not TJ. I expected TJ to play. I was surprised to see Jimmy, Tobias play as much, and even Ben. I was surprised that Ben played as many minutes as he did. I know he's a guy that can just go up and down and run the floor, and he just has that type of stamina and youth right now. I get all that, but I was surprised that he ran as long as he did run up and down the court. But as for Dwyane Wade, listen, kudos to the amazing career. We all know what he did. We all know his prime. We all remember even how about Marquette and those days and the glory tournament run and all that. Phenomenal. Loved it. One hell of a career. I would have liked to seen him sneak into the playoffs. It doesn't seem very realistic, but unbelievable. Unbelievable, and I always think it's weird to think that he was on the Cavs and the Bulls for a little bit of time there. He's just a full-time Miami Heater, and let's be real, no one's going to remember that later on in his career. It's crazy, though. This is an iconic player here for a long time of my fandom as an NBA, watcher. So it's wild, and another one goes. I remember watching Kobe play his last game, keep shooting, and then now I watched Dwyane Wade do it. One thing I did want to mention, though, Hassan Whiteside, right? He had some blocks on Zahir Smith early in this game. At one point, he had 4, and he got the bench all hype, waving the finger. Yeah, it's great. That wouldn't happen with Joel Embiid in the post. You'd be getting dunked on, dominated. Your back would be to the basket, getting worked. That's great. You blocked Zahir Smith and Highsmith. That's great. Just pure comedy. Pure comedy. Watching that happen. But hey, I mean, listen. In the moment, I get it. The place is the place is crazy. The crowd is electric. You're going to get hype. It is what it is. So, there you have it. The Sixers get crushed by the Miami Heat in Dwyane Wade's last home game. Let's just wait for the playoffs. We got one left to suffer through, and then the real thing starts. And then we really get into this thing. Thanks for watching. See you next time.